celebrating 17 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Holly Hambright.
The word possible means able to be. This is Anything is Possible. Great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. My theme this year is this: if there's something you're supposed to do, do it. If there's something you're inspired to do, do it. If there's something you're called to do, do it. And I got a doer at the table today. Holly Hambright, thank you for being here today.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Opera?
Yes.
Opera?
Yeah, but I was no good at it.
So as I'm reading your bio, your passion was you were going to sing opera. Tell me, let's start in your story there.
Okay. So it's a musical family.
Tell me about the musical family.
Well, Dad was a piano tuner, and if we got interested in taking piano, he would give us piano lessons, send us to piano lessons with the caveat that we could not quit until we graduated high school, because he understood that piano playing, instrument playing, it takes time. You're not good at it automatically. So I graduated from high school, and I'd been singing in high school, been playing the piano, and I thought, well, that's the only thing I know how to do. So when I go to UT, that's what I'll major in. And I think even now, that was all I knew how to do. And then I was pretty good at it in high school. And then I got to UT and realized how mediocre I was, because surrounded by
all that talent
and all that dedication and discipline. And I just didn't have it.
So music is a deep, rich part of your life.
Mm-hmm. Continues to be.
I just thought of a great new show for Broadway. Holly Hambright, the opera.
Oh, gosh.
Well, thank you for being here today. That was one thing that jumped out at me. I want to go back through your history. You grew up right here. This is home.
Yeah.
This is home base.
It is.
Talk about growing up here.
Well, born and raised in South Knoxville, very proud South Knoxville. Just normal childhood, growing up, where Saturdays is be home by dark, and we're just out in the neighborhood riding bikes and whatever.
Siblings?
Yes, I have two younger sisters, Peg and Kyle, and an older brother, Harlan. Peg and Kyle are here in town, and Harlan is down in St. Simons, Georgia. Peg is musical and artistic, and Harlan is artistic and musical. Kyle and I kind of are in the middle of aficionado.
Right.
Not very artistic, but we really appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about your mom.
Mom was a RN. She specialized in children with cerebral palsy, but she retired from that when she started having kids. She grew up in Gainesville, Georgia, and we always laugh that she was an alien in her own family, because she was a voracious reader, and she was such a good cook. We never had the typical grits and cornbread and all that, although we would have it sometimes, but she was always experimenting on us, and it almost was a little bit embarrassing sometimes. But, I just wanted to be as good a cook as she was for my own family. I never thought that it would take a left turn and that would become my vocation. But
what I see is a family that's soaked in and inspired by creativity, whatever that creativity is. I see it in your restaurant to this day, and I want to talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
This is Holly Hambright, the almost opera singer, and this is Anything is Possible.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
This is a direct avenue to you, my hands to your plate, to your body. I definitely know that there's a connection.
Do you believe that mood gets into food?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It took a minute to learn that, as I'm a young chef coming up, and I'm more ego-driven, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and I'm not realizing that this is a direct avenue to you, my hands to your plate, to your body. And it took me a minute to figure that out. But I definitely know that there's a connection.
Let's talk about you getting started in this, because you were on a musical journey, and as you were talking about that, you pivot from being an opera singer to following this passion in food. But I think, fully rendered, food has that same universal connectivity. You may not speak the language, but you can taste something, and you can feel a culture, you can feel love, you can feel whatever. Your first foray, though, I understand, starts at camp.
Yes, yes. It's called Camp John Knox in 10 Mile, Tennessee. I think it's John Wesley Center now. I'm not sure. John Knox Center. Anyway, I was work crew 1 year of high school, and then I went back the next year after I graduated, and I was the head cook. And Gwen and Clyde Baker provided my first opportunity. And talk about a connection. Talk about she gave me the book Food for 50, which I still have. And that and food memory of my mom is what kind of guided me through. But I had a kid come up to me at one point and just gave me this big hug. And it was so inspirational. He said, "Your spaghetti's better than my mom's." And I thought, well, that's something else. I never expected, that kind of reaction, obviously. So I go back to UT, and I'd gotten the bug. It's like, wait a minute, maybe there is something else I can do. And I went to the Lawson McGee Library downtown. It took me about a week. This is way before Google and way before all that stuff. And they had a center island filled with all of the yellow pages from all the major cities in the United States. And I went through and I looked for cooking schools in the yellow pages. And I wrote for information and that kind of thing. And once I was armed with all my information. And again, I'm still operating under that. I don't want to disappoint Dad kind of, arm.
Absolutely.
So I'm armed with information, and I go back to Mom and Dad's house. I'd moved out at this point. And instantly burst into tears and tell him I want to quit UT and I want to go be a chef. And I'm not sure if he was persuaded by my research that I'd presented him or the tears. He just wanted me to stop crying. I'm not sure. But he agreed to let me quit school, and I quit UT and worked for about a year and then moved to Baltimore in 1982.
What was the name of the school in Baltimore?
It was called the Baltimore Culinary College.
And I understand you rocked it. I mean, that your passion, I guess, drove you. And I think, so I guess it was passion commingled with, I need to show Dad that this is not just I'm going to be the real deal.
I think that was it, coupled with a fear of failure at that point, because I really didn't feel successful leaving UT. I don't like to quit. And I was back to being good at something. And that felt really good for me. And I thought, well, Dad's the best piano tuner. My brother's the best architectural photographer. Why can't I be the best chef? So, the rest is history, I suppose.
So you finished there, and you finished top of your class, and
yeah.
My understanding is you went all over. Were you hired by a resort company or a hotel company?
I was lucky to work for Omni International Hotels, and they had recently merged with Dunphy Hotels. So they were remodeling and reopening a lot of hotels all up and down the eastern seaboard. And I got to go to Sagamore, to Boston, to Orlando, to be on opening teams. We would go in for a couple of weeks and get the Garde Manger kitchen set up and going, or the pastry shop set up and going, or they would have great, huge, grand opening events. And again, so eye-opening and gratifying. Just the satisfaction of earning your beer when you go home in the evening is just, I don't know.
A job well done is really satisfying.
Thank
So my understanding, though, is that you were in Baltimore, you're rocking, that really you had no intention of coming back this way.
No.
You're going to be a chef rock star. You'd been sous chef, pastry chef, executive chef. You were moving up the chef food chain, looking for your 3 Michelins, and you were...
I am, and then life happens.
We'll take a break. When we come back, how did Holly get back to Knoxville? This is Anything is Possible.
Coming up,
I'm cooking not because I'm giving you what I want to give you necessarily. I'm cooking because I want to give you what you want.
Have you noticed what's going on at your own restaurant? Have you noticed the vibrancy, the energy? I was in there a couple of Sunday mornings ago, and it was jam-packed. The energy. And I remember Gourmet's Market when it was an actual market that had a little cafe in the back. It's become the meeting place. There's something else. There's community going on there, I guess. And I wonder if that's part of the intention.
Well, I guess accidentally it is. I appreciate you saying that, and I'm grateful for that, because I think we are in the middle of 5 miles, and we're in the middle, and I have to think about that a little bit more. But that people will actually choose to wait there on a Saturday or a Sunday to eat is a great honor for me.
They'll wait. The wait is whatever it is. People are like, okay.
Huge honor.
Yeah. How'd you get back to Knoxville?
Okay, bear with me. It's just this giant circle. So moved to Baltimore, met and married the father of my 2 girls. He worked for the government. He was a federal executive. And an opportunity came for us to leave Baltimore, and he took a job in Dallas. So the kids were just getting ready to start school, and I thought, well, now it's their time, and I can find another job, do something else. And so we moved to Dallas, and I started catering in Dallas. I worked for a catering company in Dallas, thinking my schedule would be more flexible. But the jobs just didn't work out, and it took us 3 years to figure it out because Judd didn't want to tell me he was unhappy because the kids were having a blast, and I didn't want to tell him I was unhappy because the kids were having a blast. But finally, we had a heart-to-heart after about 3 years, and he decided to take early retirement. And coming back to East Tennessee was we weighed going back to Baltimore, we weighed going back to Indiana. He was from Indiana, going back to East Tennessee, and we thought, well, let's move back to East Tennessee. And I was okay with it.
So you land here and do what?
I started working at Lord Lindsay for Harold McKinney as a caterer, and then I went to Gourmet's Market in 2003 and worked for Eric Nelson and the Strelos, and had a blast. Just had a blast. Like you said, it was a market, and it had a very small, maybe 50-seat restaurant in the back, and just loved doing the Saturday and Sunday brunch specials, and just had a blast. And then another opportunity fell through the sky. I was going to retire at Gourmet's Market. I was going to be there forever. And I got an opportunity to be a corporate chef for Greg White and the Nama Group.
Wow.
And I was still catering. So how ironic that we've been back to Gourmet's since 2015. So from 2008 to 2015, doing the catering and Holly's Eventful Dining and helping Nama and that kind of thing. And then look where I am now, right back at Gourmet's Market. So I guess I will retire there.
But you were in the chef circuit, right? Did it feel too small to come back home with all of this skill? I mean, you're a chef, right? I've
been called that before.
Right? Did you battle at all with, wait a minute, I want to be in a 3 Michelin, somewhere, some swanky, whatever. I don't want to be here.
No, because at that point my kids were young, and I was a mom. I identify as a chef, but at that point I identified more as a mom, and they were more important than my career was. So I could work kind of wherever. I just wanted them to be happy and to go to school and to do well in school, and for them to start their little human adventure in the right way.
There's something about the quality of your food that I can't quite figure out. And I don't know if it's just love. I don't know what it is. But you've built quite a business now. I'm telling you, everybody wants to go to Holly's Gourmet Market, right? What's going on with you? What is that thing? What is this expression?
Butter, bacon. I don't know. I was lucky enough to go to School for American Chefs. It was an intensive 2-week training program with Madeline Kamen. And there were 9 other chefs there. So I was the 10th chef. And they were from Los Angeles and Chicago. And, here I am. I'm coming up from Dallas at that point as a caterer. And we all had to present menus to her. And her comment to me was, "You cook the way people want to eat." Ooh. And that stuck with me.
Ooh.
So I'm cooking not because I'm giving you what I want to give you necessarily. I'm cooking because I want to give you what you want. And that has made a big difference in my motivation and intention, I think. Does that make any sense at all?
That makes a lot of sense. Quincy Jones says, put your art on the wall, give the people what they want, right? So I do believe that. What's the toughest thing you've had to overcome to keep going, to keep having possibility be real in your life?
Maybe my hip. No, just getting older, I guess, and wanting to stay, not trendy, because I'm not a trendy person in any area of my life. But overcoming, maybe being, what's that word? A has-been, or a dinosaur. I don't want to be a dinosaur necessarily, but I'm going to be, so that's okay. So just, it's, I guess, overcoming too the transition of being a doer and now being more of a teacher. So just that's a little difficult for me to just get out of the way, I'll take care of it, Whereas that's not teaching anyone how to do it themselves. So,
your dad, he passed away when?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
August.
So he got to see your success. So you said you never wanted to let him down. You wanted to make him proud of you. Was he?
Yes, I think he was. I think that we're lucky, and you're going to make me cry. He was proud of all his kids, and he worked really, really hard to give us opportunities. And my mom was the door opener. She never shoved us through anything, but she would open the door and say, "Dad, I think the kids want to take art lessons." And he'd provide the means for us to take art lessons. Or, "Dad, I think Holly wants to take dance lessons." And he'd work hard so that I could dance with Irma O'Fallon in Sequoia Hills, or whatever my brother was doing, or whatever. And I think ultimately he saw his hard work pay off through his children.
Wow. Why does that move you like that?
Because I miss him. I just miss him. I miss Mom too. But yeah, I love him. And I hope they know how grateful I was for all the opportunities they gave us.
I think that spirit is resonant in who you are and what you do. I was saying to my own daughter one day, I said, I want to be worth missing.
Wow. Well, you're leaving quite
Right.
a legacy with all yours.
So I think if I'm your dad and I'm looking at, because I don't want you to miss the fact that there is something special going on in your food because it is creating community. I'm watching, I'm paying attention. I go a lot of places. I'm watching the people connect in the space that you've created, and you're giving people opportunity for that. And I know that that's your heart. And the food is the gateway into that, right?
wow.
Right?
Okay.
And I mean, people are just being attracted to how the food makes them feel, but the conversations people are having in your restaurant and the relationships that are growing and it's happening there. And I think it's a byproduct of the way you live your life and the values that you want to deposit in community. And I think that really is a great reflection of who your parents were, right? Because you're rooted in this community. And so I think that's creating possibility. So thank you for just giving us a peekaboo into your life and into the life of your great parents, and for being Holly. And I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Black bean soup. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Hash brown casserole. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Scrambled eggs and whatever that is you're doing with grits. This is magnificent. I'm coming back. Thank you for being here, Holly.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
We'll see you next time on Anything is Possible.